So what's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. My name is Robert. If this is your first time tuning in, today what we're going to talk about is $1 million, the new middle class. That's how it feels like today, at least. It takes more and more money every single year just to be able to maintain the lifestyle you had the previous year. That's because of inflation, and over the past 5 years a lot of our money has lost between 20 to 30% of our of its value. So that means you have to make 20 or 30% more money than you did 5 years ago just to keep the same lifestyle that you have today, or to keep the same lifestyle today. So that's what I'm going to talk about today. Is $1 million the new norm? Is that the new middle class? Maybe even upper middle class. It certainly feels like it today. Certainly feels like it in the world we live in right now. So I'll quickly kind of go over some details about it and my reasoning behind it as well. If you get any value from this, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the channel. So, $1 million. Growing up, I thought $1 million when I was in high school. I thought I wanted to be a millionaire, and by millionaire, having $1 million. I thought it was a lot of money, which it probably still was at that time, right? When I was in high school. $1 million still had a lot of buying power, but since then, it's been many years. $1 million doesn't get you the same stuff or the same value as it did 10-20 years ago, or even when my parents were growing up. $1 million was a lot of money. Today it won't do that. Let's just take, for instance, housing. So I live in a very rural area, not super huge population. I think it's under 10,000 people, and even my homes here in this area sell for about between $280 to $320 for a decent home. Now, we do have a lot of subdivisions that are selling for about $400,000, and that's in a small rural community, by the way. This isn't like a Dallas metroplex, San Antonio, Austin, Houston. It's a small community. And even then, our homes are selling for quite a bit of money, basically almost $500,000. Now, if you extend this out to a Houston, Dallas, especially a Dallas, Fort Worth, Austin area, you're looking at over $500,000 for a decent home, probably into the $600 range for a decent home in those areas. You're already past your $500,000. And then you factor in vehicles. Most people have 1 to 2 vehicles, and I've been in the market for a vehicle recently, so I've been kind of paying attention now. A new truck, a new F-250 today is between $80,000 to $100,000, which is absolutely crazy. So let's just take a $400,000 home, $100,000 for a vehicle. Now, most people are married. Most people have wives. You're probably going to be buying your wife a vehicle as well. I know what my fiance wants is like an $80,000 vehicle. So let's just tack on another 100. So now we're at 4, 5, 6. You're already 60% of the way to your $1 million in value and stuff, right? Now, again, you are going to be financing most of this, but personally, I'm trying to not have any debt, so we're trying to do everything in cash, right? So this is already a lot of money. This doesn't even include the bills, your water, electric, your subscriptions. None of that. Doesn't include insurance on the house or the vehicles. And those are people's biggest expenses. And you already knocked out $600,000 of the million, right? Assuming you're buying all this stuff in cash. Now, if you go to a Dallas area, 6, 7, 8, you're about 80% done of your $1 million just with those 3 purchases, your 3 biggest purchases, which is crazy. Now, let's take this another way. Let's just say you want to live off of those $1 million. Most people don't have high yield savings accounts. Most people have regular traditional banks where they're a local credit union or a local bank earning 0.01% interest, 0.05, whatever it is. Most people are not doing high yield savings accounts, but for the purpose of for the purpose of this video, we're going to assume that everyone has their finances in order and they're using a high yield savings account. So let's assume they're getting 4% interest on their money. which most people aren't, but we're going to give it the benefit of the doubt, and we're going to go with 4% interest. 4% interest, again, you're older, you're retired, you probably don't want to go back to work, right? So can you live off of this $1 million that you have built up? $1 million earning 4% interest earns you $40,000 per year. Now, if everything is paid off, you don't have any bills, your vehicle's paid off, house is paid off, only thing you have are your insurance, taxes, and your regular utilities, you're still not going to have a very great life with your $40,000 of interest that you're earning on your $1 million. You know, you're not going to be able to enjoy your golden years off of $40,000 of interest that your million's kicking off. At least not where I live. Maybe some other places you might, but here you're not. So you're gonna be earning $40,000. This is before taxes, mind you. This is $40,000 before you have even paid your taxes. But you still have to pay all your utilities, your insurances, taxes on your property. You know, you're not going to be living a very nice lifestyle with $40,000 of interest that this thing is kicking off. So for most people, $1 million is not going to be enough, especially if it's kicking off, you know, $40,000 a year. And of course, with the cost of things coming up as well, and this is assuming that everything is going perfectly, which we all know in life, nothing goes perfect, but we're assuming everything is going perfectly here. This isn't accounting for, you know, your vehicle's AC falling apart or the heating and cooling system in your house falling apart. This is not taking into account any of these things, right, that are going to cost more money. So $1 million is not what it used to be anymore. People still hear $1 million, they think it's a lot of money. It's not a lot of money. It doesn't go very far anymore. Today, I would say the new norm to aim for is probably closer to 10 million today. 10 years from now, probably 10 million is going to be the new 1 million, if we're being honest. At the rate of our money just basically being devalued, in 10 years, 10 million might be the new 1 million, if we're being honest here. So aim for bigger, more. I know for a lot of people, they hear $1 million, they think it's crazy, they think it's wild, and it's something that they really, really want, which is good, right? It's good to get your first million, but it doesn't go as far as people think. $1 million is still, you're still maybe you're still middle class, maybe the top tier middle class, but still, it's still considered, in my book, middle class, because you're still having to watch what you're doing. You're still having to pay attention to prices. You're still having to pay attention to things with $1 million. Again, because you're still having to live off of that money. That's assuming you are relying on your $1 million and you don't actually have a job and you're not working. Aside from having $1 million in the bank, you're still having to rely on that money being there so it can continue to kick off interest, so you can continue to live your life. So yeah, aim for bigger, aim for higher, aim for at least 10 million, guys. If anything, bring it up to 5 million, but 10 million will give most people a generous lifestyle. You know, 4%, that's 400,000 a year. Most people will find it kind of hard to spend $400,000 a year realistically, unless you're a crazy spender. But for most people, 400,000 will be sufficient. They can take a couple trips a year, especially if they have all their bills paid, or all their big bills paid, houses, cars, things like that paid off. You can actually enjoy a little bit more of your life. So yeah, $1 million is not what it used to be. Probably in 10 years from this video being put out there, it's 10 millions. It's not going to be what it used to be either. So without further ado, be careful, be good, take care, God bless. See you guys in the next one. Bye bye.